Mankind has known what a flood is since ancient times. Each of us has heard the story of the flood, which flooded the globe and destroyed all life except the passengers on Noah's Ark. Scientists believe that something similar took place in Mesopotamia in the 3rd or 4th millennium BC. At that time, the inhabited lands in the valleys of the Tigris and Euphrates seemed to people the whole universe, so they associated large-scale floods with a global disaster. Just as many years ago, today floods are considered to be one of the most dangerous natural disasters. It causes loss of life and economic damage. But why does it happen? And what are the consequences of floods? A flood is an extensive flooding of large areas with water from rivers, lakes, seas and oceans. Many regions of the earth are prone to such disasters. For example, floods often occur in the river valleys of Western Europe, the Chinese Huanghe and Yangtze rivers, in the United States and Canada. By the way, in the territories of the former Soviet Union, floods most often affect the areas along the banks of the Dnieper, the Amur, and the Volga. The causes of floods are numerous. The most common is prolonged rainfall, which causes rivers to overflow and spill over the coastal plains. By the way, periodic floods associated with snow melting are typical for territories located in the lowlands. Often in the spring period during the ice drift, large blocks of snow and ice cause blockages in the river bed. As a result, water rises above the main level of the banks. On islands, the mainland coasts of the seas and oceans occasionally experience the so-called wind surge. When under the influence of a strong wind, the water surface rises above sea level and floods large areas of land. But tsunami waves are more catastrophic. They are caused by earthquakes and volcanic eruptions and then hit the coast. Other causes of flooding include damage to reservoirs or dams, landslides that block river channels, and storm surges and seiches. For example, standing waves in enclosed bodies of water, lakes, ponds. Depending on its magnitude, floods are divided into several types. In particular, small ones occur mainly in small rivers and cover small areas. Their periodicity is on average 5 to 7 years, and the degree of flooding does not exceed 10%. However, dangerous floods cause more serious damage. For example, they flood up to 20% of the land, which disrupts the way of life of people and often requires their evacuation. But natural disasters that involve the entire river basin and flood human settlements are considered particularly dangerous. As a result, there is a need for mass evacuation of people and valuables. But the most terrible are catastrophic floods that completely paralyze industry and agricultural activity over large areas. They can lead to loss of life and humanitarian disasters requiring the involvement of the world community. Major floods have irreversible consequences and cause enormous material damage. Flooding damages roads, infrastructure, residential buildings, tunnels, and bridges. Water destroys farmland and kills livestock. And in particularly catastrophic cases, floods kill people. The main task of rescuers during a natural disaster is to search for victims and provide assistance. The success of rescuers depends on responding quickly to the situation, as well as using effective techniques. The largest floods in history? Mankind has known many major floods that were catastrophic in nature. In 1953, for example, storm waves off the coast of Western Europe caused many rivers to rise sharply. This resulted in great property damage and the death of 2,000 people. The 2004 tsunami, which flooded Indonesia, Thailand, India, and several other Asian countries, has been recognized as the deadliest in modern history. The waves pounded the shores of the Indian Ocean, penetrating deep into the coastline. As a result, 225,000 people were killed. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina caused seawater to overflow the levees and flood over 80% of the city of New Orleans. According to various sources, 1,300 to 1,600 people died.